Hello, everybody, and welcome to Everything But the Cats, the podcast where we talk about every single thing, except for one specific thing. My name's Gage.
I'm DJ.
And today we are joined by a special guest, father, artist, and lover of the Pokemon trading card game, Levi Qualls. How you doing today, Levi?
I'm good. Thanks for asking and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Now, Levi, you have just written a book. I'm holding it right now. It looks really cool and it's big and I'm excited to get into it. And we're going to be talking about that and some other things. But just before we get into the meat of what we're talking about, could you just introduce yourself? Talk a little bit about how you got here so our audience can get to know you a little bit.
My name is Levi Qualls. So I have an art degree. I went to Pittsburgh State University, got an art degree from there. Then I did online school to get a master's degree in art. But so how I came to writing a book, I was almost finished with my master's degree, realized I cared more about storytelling than actually art, and was like, I'm just going to write a book instead of drawing.
That's fair. I think I remember one of the first things I ever saw from you. I think it was Orochimaru. You had drawn Orochimaru or something and
Yep.
posted it on Instagram, and I thought it was so cool.
I remember drawing that. Yeah, I still have oh man, the first Hokage. His name is escaping me.
Hashirama.
Hashirama, yes. I still have a piece I drew of him somewhere in the garage.
Well, that's sick. That's something that there's another podcast a couple of my friends and I have tried starting that's just essentially three guys who watched Naruto and one guy who didn't, talking about Naruto. It's a fun time. We
It's
haven't
so good.
done anything with it, but yeah. So welcome on. I guess, DJ, do you have any questions before we get into the meat of things?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm a simple man.
I do have one before the first question, I guess. What is your most prized Pokemon card?
My most prized. I probably just bought it the other day. It's a Houndoom. You know what? I'm just gonna open this up real quick, show you guys, because I have it right beside me. My binder.
Good
I,
place.
I prefer to play, but Houndoom is my favorite Pokemon, and it's
Okay.
this one right here.
Nice.
Yeah, I love me some Houndoom. Anything Gen 2, really.
Our friend Garrett, who is our most consistent watcher, he will love that you said that. I'm pretty sure that's his favorite Pokemon too.
Oh, yeah.
So
Awesome.
yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, I was just curious about that. I used to have quite the collection, but I gave it all away when I moved. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's go ahead and dive in. DJ, you want to start us off?
Sure, yeah. So, question number one, because we've got them all numbered out here. Without any spoilers or anything like that, go ahead and tell us what your book is about. What's on the back, etc.
Um, so this is actually, I was telling Taylor the list of questions you guys have for me. I was like, this is the hardest one. I was like, I have no
Okay.
idea. I was like, because every time someone asks me this question, I always want
Yeah.
to tell them like what it's really about and not like
Mm.
what it's about, I guess.
Mhm.
But like, oh man, I don't even know how to explain. Like, I could read the back, but that's just.
Yeah.
I mean, what it's about is about a boy who is finding himself. It's essentially a coming of age story, but I feel I like what I want to say is it's just deeper. It's more about like choosing, and this is probably something I'll have to expand upon, but it's choosing what God wants for you more than what you want for yourself, essentially, in fantasy words or
Mm.
fantasy pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good message.
Yeah, it is. And I can already kind of see a little bit of that. I had the opportunity to read the first chapter before we recorded. And like I say, excited to get into it. But I noticed there's a lot of reference to just looking at the back and all the other things that you've included. There's a lot of reference to other Greek mythology and things along those lines.
Hmm.
Um, and so that I'm excited to get into a little bit more as well. And that goes along with another question we'll ask in a bit. But you mentioned fantasy. So the genre is high fantasy, correct?
Yeah.
What what really inspires you and what kind of drew you to the fantasy genre?
I just really like swords and magic and dragons. Like, yeah, I can't explain it. I love it. I love it so much. You put something sci-fi in front of me, and I will get very angry. But give me magic. Put a gun in. Show me a gun, and I'm like, no. Show me a sword. I'm like, yes. Or a bow. Or a bow. I'm like, heck yeah. This is now we're talking.
An axe?
So, yeah, somebody with
Yeah.
a staff. Like, I don't care if it shoots magic bolts or they're just smacking people with it. Like, heck yeah, that's what I like.
Okay. Now, in the terms of the fantasy aspect of it, is it, like I say, I've read chapter one. I haven't gotten much further yet. Is it mostly impacted by Greek mythology, or is there other stuff that we're going to see in that vein?
So, I take stuff from a lot. It's majority Greek mythology. I'm a huge Greek mythology fan. So, like the gods of Olympus are existent in this book. That's who runs this world. But there's I take some stuff from Norse mythology as well, and quite a bit from the Bible as well. Like, yeah, there's I took from pretty much everything that I like, just kind of try to mash it into one thing.
I mean, that's what writing is sometimes.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is.
Okay. DJ?
Yeah. So you've already answered this kind of, so I guess this would be a chance to expand if you want
Mm-hmm.
to. But was there like you're in the middle of an art degree and you're like, I'm sick of art, like I'm sick of drawing and painting, like I want to write something. What was that moment like? What was that season like? What like led to it? I guess.
So this specific like version of the story was freshly out of college, and I was doing like my character's designs. I had designed Poseidon, the Oracle, and Zeus, and I was working on layouts for a graphic novel because it was going to be a graphic novel. Because my degree is illustration, but with an emphasis in comics. And so I was going to do a graphic novel, and I just started doing the layout, and I'm like, this isn't what I want to do. I was like, I just really want to tell a story. Like, I don't, it doesn't have to be drawn. I was like, I really just care about the story more than anything. So I was like, I'm going to try to write. I have no experience in creative writing. I just decided to, I'm like, I like books. Like, I like reading.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give it a shot. So I did.
Okay.
So I guess would you see yourself ever revisiting it as a graphic novel in the future?
I could see that. Yeah, actually, my wife earlier this, like, yeah, back in January was like, let's write down some goals we want to do for this year. So I was like, okay. And then one of my goals was actually writing a comic and drawing it, um, just for fun. So the idea of comics, like, there's a graphic novel. It's kind of a not a super long series, but it's called Headlopper. It's pretty good. It kind of made me. I was reading it. And I was like, this makes me want to go back and try this again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm googling this because I'm very curious.
It's always fun when you find something that like takes you back into kind of a passion that you got away from for a while. Those kind of moments are always they're always good. They're always fun. Like I was this is kind of on topic, kind of off, but like when I was younger, I was obsessed with the Percy Jackson series and like just barely getting into this. I'm already not the same thing, but like it's giving me some of the same feelings I had when I was first getting into that adventure. And so that's also exciting for me as a person who likes that kind of stuff a lot.
Yeah, I actually have Percy Jackson right there. Both of those.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, so Percy Jackson for me was super super odd. It was like I I remember. Do you guys remember the Scholastic Book Fair?
Oh
If
yeah.
that was everything. Okay, I don't remember what got me into Greek mythology, but there was like they wheeled out the TV and they had commercials for books.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the only commercial for a book I remember, and it was for the second Percy Jackson book. And they're like, Percy Jackson, blah blah blah, son of Poseidon. I was like, what is this? I was like, how come I've never heard of this? And I still can't remember why I wanted to read a book about someone who was the son of Poseidon, but then I got it, and then I looked at it and I was like, book two? I can't read this. I need to go find book one. And then I just remember it was probably like a year or so after we're at Walmart and I'm looking through the book aisle and I see the first book and I was like, Mom, I have to have this. And of course, my mom, she's the one that got me into reading. She was like, of course. She's like, you can buy all these books if you want. Okay, Mom. Thank you.
That's awesome.
That's just a really good series, and that's a good memory. Gosh, I remember the commercial for the Vladimir Todd books because I loved those books. It was just essentially like a teenage vampire. It was like
Classic.
Twilight, but in my opinion, less romancy. And not even in my opinion, it was just significantly less romance. And it was just a vampire fighting other vampires in high school. And I was like, bro, this is so me. It wasn't, but
The only other books I can remember from like elementary are the Charlie Bone books.
mm, I think I have a couple of those actually in my room somewhere.
Yeah, mine are out in the garage. I'm just like, I don't fully remember what this is about, but I remember having a good time reading these.
Knock off Harry Potter. Knock off Harry.
He could like go into pictures or something.
Yeah, something like that. I don't even remember if that was his. Yeah, that was his ability. And they
Okay.
all had like these abilities. There was a kid who was an albino who was kind of a traitor at one point. There was like a werewolf in one of the books, I think.
Well,
I read them out of order. That's all I remember.
as you do.
Yeah, yeah. DJ, do you have the next one? Do I have the next one?
You have the next one, Gage.
If your oh, this is a fun one. I saw this question and I was like, that's a fun question. If your book had a soundtrack, what kinds of songs would be on it?
Probably tavern music. I don't know. Something with a lute or a lyre. Yeah. That was a that was probably actually the hardest one that was on there. I was like, what am I gonna say? Like Pearl Jam or something? I was like, I don't know.
Well, I remember back in like grade school when YouTube was still a new thing to me. I would look up like Naruto character iPods and it would be like a theme song that somebody picked for them and it would be like Gara, Mr. Sandman or Enter Sandman or something like
Okay, yeah.
that. Do you have anything like that, like a song that you think would be like a theme song for any characters or any movements of the story without again giving too many spoilers? I guess the song could be if you want it to be a subtle one, but
Oh, yeah. I can't. For some reason, I just can't think of any song.
that's
I don't
fine.
know. Something with blood in it, maybe.
We could always go classic Christian deathcore with Blood Comes Cleansing. That's a great choice there. You said something with like a lute, and I was like, "Oh Fortuna" by Fewer Schwans is a really fun, like tavern sounding song. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. It's German.
Quite the tavern.
Yeah. And then there's a Tavern Slam Jam by God's Farm, which is slam metal and would not be played in a tavern, but is a fun song all the same.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. So, I mean, we've already talked about a lot of this, so there's gonna be overlap all over this episode, and that's all right. It's good, even. But who are some of your greatest influences? And I'd include that to say what are, like who
Yeah.
or what.
So people that I know, probably my mom's the biggest one, just because I remember being 4 years old and she would read my older brother and me Harry Potter. Those are some very, very good memories. Love me some Harry Potter. Obviously, my wife, because she's my wife.
Yeah.
And then, well, books, I really enjoy Percy Jackson, Harry Potter. There's like a newer author that I hadn't heard of. His name's John Gwynne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I picked up Shadow of the Gods, which was one of his newer series, because I just saw a dragon on it while I was at Books A Million. I was like, I'll give this a shot. And then I didn't end up reading it until I had finished writing my book, but I read that one. And then I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, this is so good. I was like, this is probably some of the best writing I've ever read. So I bought his other series, which was the Faithful and the Fallen series. So there's 4 books there, which were also very good. And so I read those, and then I read the second of the other trilogy called the Bloodsworn trilogy, which was the one with the Shadow of the Gods and the dragon on it. And then the third one came out in November, but I haven't read that yet. I got pretty busy.
I can imagine.
The only book I've actually read this year was The Hobbit.
That's a good one. It's not a bad one to read. So
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I think I own a John Gwynne book, but have not read it. Just bought a bunch of fantasy books all at once a while ago.
I would really recommend John Gwynne just because his writing is super simple. You're not gonna get any words that you don't need. That was what I loved about it. I was like, I'm not getting, I'm not having to read 30 words for to describe one branch or something.
Yeah.
I was like, this is just so awesome. Yeah, I loved it so much.
Cool.
I think one of our first episodes that we did on video, was Guess the Guest. And we essentially, everybody who we'd had as a guest at that point told us their favorite movies, books, TV shows, etc. And I made DJ guess who they were. And one of our friends, I believe it was Caleb, actually used a John Gwynne book as one of his. I think it was him. It was him or Andrew. But yeah, I've wanted to check him out since then, but I mostly read, up until recently, mostly had been reading true crime and stuff like that. Just tickled my fancy for a while. Now I'm back into everything.
Your fancy has been adequately tickled.
Yep.
So we're going to move on. Yeah.
So did you know, in terms of your story, did you know kind of where you were headed the whole time? Or did you and maybe your characters surprise you along the way?
Yeah, I would say my characters surprised me along the way. So it's very difficult to write an outline for a book. This is just me personally. Very difficult to write an outline for a book, but also write a book. How can and a lot of people, I'm not this way. I'm not organized. I don't plan out everything. It's just, I don't know. Yeah, just the way God made me, maybe, or maybe I'm just lazy. I don't know. I tried the outline. And I finished my book, and then I looked out my outline. Was like, none of this even happened. I was like, half of that stuff. Some of it's the stuff that's going to happen in the second book, but I was like, that character doesn't exist. That thing never even happened. And then, but whenever you do that, you're writing along the way. It's a lot of you write something, and then I'll take it to my wife and be like, "What do you think of this? Do you think my character would do this?" And she'd be like, "No." Or my editor, who is my good friend, he'd be like, "I don't think that's a thing that should happen." I'm like, "That's why you guys are here."
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the problems with maybe not being organized, because you're gonna try stuff that people are like, "No, that's stupid."
So along the lines of character, and I know this is just one that came up, it's not one that we were going to get to, but in the terms of world building, character creation, things like that, have you ever played D&D or anything like it?
No, never
Okay.
played D&D.
I'm just curious. Most of my friends who do writing like this normally have. And so I was just curious.
I've always thought like, if I have a few friends that do it, I was like, that sounds my friend group thought about it, but we bought like the baby version. We never ended up playing it, but we had like the baby version, and then I have a few friends that do like D&D nights, but I've never done that.
It's pretty fun. We have a couple of episodes where we just kind of goofed off and made our own so that it didn't have to be like as in depth as D&D
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And it was very simple, just not as much role playing as probably either of us when we were leading kind of hoped for, but it was still a lot of fun. And so it can be a good time. And as far as I know, I haven't written a book, but it's helped me in like being able to come up with that kind of stuff. So I was just
Yeah.
again just curious.
This also isn't on the list, but I know that creative processes, and this is a question that's really hard to answer without spoilers, but I know that creative processes involve killing your darlings. Do you feel like you killed a lot of darlings in this process?
No, I
Cool.
mean,
Great.
just it's well, I mean, to get to this version of the book, it was like killing a bunch of stupid versions of the book.
That's fair.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say I did a whole lot of killing my darlings.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
good. Nice. Glad they're intact for now. I don't know if sequels are in the works. If you're looking to kill anyone,
I have 2 pages of the sequel so far, so we'll
okay.
see. We're almost there.
Might I suggest killing someone?
It's
So,
gonna happen.
okay, cool. Cool. So, my next question is find it. So, which fictional characters, yours or others, doesn't matter, would you most like to have coffee with? Or if you're not a coffee guy, I don't know, lunch.
I am a coffee guy,
Coffee.
and I'd probably say Gandalf.
Mm.
Just I'm not big into talking, and I feel like he would just let me sit there
Mm.
unless we had to go on an adventure. Then he
That's
wouldn't
fair.
leave me alone.
Gray or white?
Gray.
Yeah.
What is it? It's not like weed, but the stuff that he smokes is essentially tobacco, but with a little bit better of a high, I guess. I don't
It's
know.
got a
That's what Mary
kick.
and Pippin were smoking the whole
Yeah.
time.
A little spicy.
It's just like, yeah, they went ahead, they got they got Treebeard on their side, and they smoked weed while doing it. It was a great time. I forget what it was called though.
Pipeweed.
Pipeweed. Yeah.
According to the one wiki to rule them all, I'm only reading the first sentence here because it's all that really matters. A lower quality strain of pipeweed called the Southwind was used in the town of Bree, and it's just fun to think about strains of pipeweed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Okay.
don't know much about Gandalf in Lord of the Rings book 2 or book 3. I've never read past book 1, but I've read The Hobbit like 5 times because it's very good.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
It's a lot of him stopping off at the dispensary, I'm sure.
That's actually why he left for a little bit between books 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Had to
I feel like
stock up.
he in The Hobbit he like leaves for half of the book, so surely he was doing something then as well.
Yeah, just having a good time.
He's a rascal.
Now, are any this one again, if there's like spoiler territory here, I know that at the
Just send
beginning,
it.
at the very beginning, it says that any characters or events that represent real life are coincidental. That's what it says at the beginning. I don't know if that's just something that people put in books for like legal purposes, and I might cut that out with saying it, but are there any characters or events in the story that represent people or events in your own life or in real life to you?
So I'm pretty sure that is something you put at the front of the book for legal purposes. I just put it in there because all the books that I've read have it in there. I was like, yeah, let's do this. Uh, I wouldn't say they're like based off of people. I mean, they're based off of experiences that I've had through people,
Hmm.
or like experiences that I've had myself. So yeah, there's quite a few characters that are based off of how I saw other people like growing up, I guess. Just because, I mean, it's a fantasy book, but you got to write what you know. Can't really make it believable or relatable without that.
Hmm. I think it's funny just for myself that I kind of caught that the legal purposes thing.
The copyright page, I just, where's page one?
Speaking of that, so are you published through? Is it through Amazon or
Yeah, it's
how?
just self published.
Okay, okay. I was just curious because I was looking at the copyright page because I'm a nerd, I guess. Yeah, I was just curious.
Do you have your ISBN memorized?
979.
I was just curious. Cool. My wife used to be in publishing. It was a like small Christian publisher here in Joplin, and they had their like I don't know what knowledge you guys have about how I feel like the N in ISBN has to be number, but it feels awkward to say like ISBN and not say number afterwards. So I don't know what knowledge you guys have about ISBN numbers. But College Press in Joplin had like 100 of them or something like that that were like the numbers that they had access to, and if they like I could be misremembering this, so sorry. As far as my memory serves, if they like published that 101st book, they had to like decide which book like no longer had access to the ISBN. Like it was some wacky stuff where they are like having to like navigate numbers. And Angela, like she probably hears me in the other room and is like, he's an idiot. So maybe I'm totally wrong. It's worth looking up sometime. That's what I'll say.
That
It
sounds
probably isn't
brutal.
fascinating. Yeah, yeah. It sounds weird. There's also something like I think that they had ISBN numbers from when they used to be shorter or something like that, but then they like ran out of numbers essentially, so now they're longer. So I don't know. It's probably fascinating for someone out there. So if
That's what
anyone is interested, look it up, I guess.
that's one of our boring episodes that we're going to do in the
Yeah.
future.
It's not a bad one. We could have Angela on. Anyways, I think it's my turn. It is my
Hmm.
turn. So, how has your relationship with other forms of art impacted your journey with writing and storytelling? And it sounds like it kind of launched you there, but I'm curious, like, throughout the process, how they helped you or shaped you.
So it was a lot of, I mean, obviously a lot of it came from just trying to learn how to be an illustrator, because trying to do that, it was a lot of like disappointment, like in terms of trying to figure out what kind of artist I wanted to be. Like and my Instagram archive probably would be a testament to this, just the different styles that I tried and like different approaches to drawing that I took. And then, I mean, even with my cover, I tried to do a more illustrated in terms of a comic booky type cover originally, but then I ended up obviously approaching it differently if you've seen the cover. So it was a lot of just allowing, like being real with myself on what I liked and not letting like comparative thoughts and like, oh man, the way they drew that is super cool, the way they painted is super cool, like I want to be like that. Well, I could eventually do that, but it's going to take me another 5 years to learn. I'm like, don't really have that time. What can I do now? And be honest with myself on like what I like. And so I ended up, it's very like graphic-y illustration style. It was where I'm at now. But for terms of the book, I was like, I'm just going to write what I like. Just because I don't know a whole lot about writing. I don't know a whole lot about grammar or anything either. I'm just going to write what I like. And so that was an easier decision to make because I didn't have so much invested into the skill. I didn't have like a whole lot to, or like I guess the desire to compare because I've spent 7 years learning how to do this thing.
Hmm.
So that was nice.
Now, another just hypothetical one. I like these kinds of questions.
We'll,
If
we'll
you're,
say
oh, go
say
ahead.
when.
Yeah, when your book gets turned into a movie, who are some of your like dream cast decisions?
Number one is definitely Idris Elba. Huge fan. He can play whichever character he wants. And I don't know, probably Jason Momoa, but not because like not movie Jason Momoa and not Aquaman movie Jason Momoa. More serious Jason Momoa.
Hmm.
Don't come in here with your weird jokes like the Marvel humor or whatever.
Yeah, that's
So
kind of poisoned a lot of film. Go ahead, DJ.
like a Game of Thrones Jason Momoa.
Yes, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Okay. How about oh gosh, who's the guy from Firefly and The Rookie and
Yeah.
Castle? Nathan Fillion. How about him?
He's from Monsters University. He can be in there too. That's fine.
I just imagine like anytime I think of any kind of book or like concept that's being turned into a movie, I just really like him as an actor, and I think he gets less credit than he deserves. He's
He's
a
a
bit
Green Lantern.
he's a bit cheesy at times, and that Green Lantern design is one of those times. I know it's trying to be comic accurate, but it's so awful in a way.
Very goofy looking.
It's a very goofy Green Lantern. It's a very goofy Green Lantern, but I like him, and I just think that would be fun. But
So
Jason Momoa, Idris Elba, I like both of those.
similar, related, unrelated. Who's going to do the audiobook?
My older brother.
Nice.
Yeah. Someone I don't have to pay.
Yeah, yeah.
He's got a
Don't
nice
have.
way of talking too, so he messaged me and was like, I don't know how to pronounce like most of these words. It's like it's fine, I'll send you some voice memos.
Yeah,
That's my
I mean,
favorite. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
sorry. No, like it is interesting. I do wonder at what point the pronunciation of these words that you came up with, like, is out of your hands. Like one day you're on YouTube and you see that someone has butchered a word and you're like, well, great. I guess that's what it's called now.
It's sort of
Awesome.
like the main character's dad. His name his name is spelled Gunner, but it's
Mm-hmm.
I in my head I every time I look at it it's Gunnar. I don't know. I don't. I'm not a linguist, so I don't know the dots that you put above the U's and the
Mm-hmm.
D's and stuff. So I'm like, whatever. I'm just gonna spell it how I know.
That's fair.
There's a no. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was like, having someone named Gunner in a fantasy novel is kind of strange, but
I've got another friend who wrote a couple of books, and they're both fantasy. But he came like so far, the names make sense to me in yours, and everything I've read makes a lot of sense to me. No offense to Zach at all. Most of the names he comes up with, I'm just like, bro, pronounce it for me, please, because I'm gonna struggle every time I hit this name when I'm reading through this book. And so far, like I said, I haven't really experienced that here, and I like that. But it is fun in fantasy, coming like having to pronounce the names out loud as opposed to in your head, because this is just me being stupid. But when I was younger, I read a book, and one of the characters' name was Mackenzie, and I had never seen Mackenzie spelled that way before. Mackenzie, which is how you spell it.
Yeah, one of the main ones for sure.
And so I walk up to my teacher, and I'm like, "Hey, Mackenzie is a really weird name."
it's like whenever you've gone your whole life pronouncing a Pokemon one way, and then you hear it
Mm.
said a different way, and you're like, no, no, that's not. You're wrong.
I feel like it takes me back to like youth group and you're reading the Bible passage together like one verse at a time and you're like, please God, don't let me get the one with the town name in it. I'll do anything, please.
The Garden of Gethsemane. It's funny because, like, being Bible college students, like, Gethsemane, just natural to
I
me,
mean,
right?
you learn to fake it. Yeah. Like, I'm convinced that our professors who studied Greek, they're faking it. Like, they're just speaking with confidence, and that's what I do now.
Hearing a lot of people outside of Ozark pronounce things in Greek now, I'm like, maybe they were just faking it. Like, they all sound so confident in the ways that they say things. I'm just like, you know what? We weren't alive back then.
Yeah, it's like every time my pastor says something about this is how you pronounce this is the word in Greek, I'm like, I have no knowledge to dispute that.
I bet you're right.
Yeah.
So, that wasn't intentionally a segue, but I am curious. How does your faith impact your art?
Well, I mean, so like, I guess for the story specifically, I would try to pray every day before I would start writing because it's very, it's sort of like a battle sometimes because I'm writing a book about the Greek gods, but I want to write a book that's also pretty. It's for everyone. Like I don't think you have to be a Christian to read it, but I want it to be pretty obvious that God is evident in this. So I would pray. I'm like, how do I write a book using these gods to glorify you? I'm not sure if I hit that mark, but I think I still have a few more books to do it. But it's sort of just trying to do my best to tell a good story, but like, because I want to leave people with hope, but I also want that to be the right hope, really. Just want it to be, just hopeful.
That's a good word. Like, it's a good way to approach it as well. I mean, in terms of having sequels and stuff, like, God used 66 books, so you've got time.
More if you're Catholic.
More if you're Catholic. Plenty of time.
I still have a flood somewhere along the way too.
Yeah.
I get to start all over.
Yeah, it's so true. More time if you're Mormon, I think, if I understand correctly. So
I got that book around here somewhere.
I used to have one.
I need to get one. So, I mean, that's an interesting. These two questions going next to each other work really well for the way that you kind of said that, because I think you just answered this question. But, and maybe you didn't, but kind of. What is a word that you would like readers to come away from your book thinking of it? Like just a single word that
Yeah,
you'd like them to
hope.
attribute.
Yeah. Just because if you read the book, you'll kind of understand that. But just that not all bad things. Just what we all know. We've all heard it. Just because bad things happen doesn't mean it's bad life, and that's pretty much the vibe of the book. Just got to keep pushing through.
Yeah.
Just keep swimming.
Yeah, exactly.
As the great philosopher Dory once said.
Yeah. As the esteemed good person Ellen DeGeneres once said.
I don't have the knowledge to dispute that information.
No, that's a good word. It's a good good message. I hope that's how people come out of it as well. So we've already hinted at a lot of this, and this doesn't necessarily have to be books or anything like that. This is the last question, by the way. So go crazy if you want to. What's next? What's on the horizon for you?
Yeah, probably another book and a lot of Pokemon.
Great.
And a lot of kid watching, that's for sure.
DJ can attest to that. I nodded as if I have any experience in that category.
That's all right. So we're friends with Taylor on Facebook. Do you guys have two? Is that right?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Just recently. He's a month old.
Oh,
the
wow.
younger one. Yeah.
I don't know if I knew that. That's wild. I for some reason I thought he was older than that. Okay, cool. I've been on Facebook for a while.
That's
That'll-
fair. I
that'll
don't
probably
I
do
don't
it.
really get up there. I only get up there on there now because Taylor's created a whole Facebook group for my book, and I want to make sure if people say something that I can be like, "Thank you,
Yeah, that's fine.
appreciate it."
So, kind of on that, The Sea and the Sword doesn't drop officially until June 20th, right? Is that officially when it's
I think
released?
Taylor put it in there as June 3rd.
June 30th? Okay. I didn't
I could be
remember if I
wrong.
read
I
that
let her
right.
do all that.
It's not officially out yet,
No.
but it will be soon. And so this episode's going to come out at like late May, early June, so about a month before the book does. Are there any like places that people can keep tabs on you, on the book, for when it releases? We are going to share links and stuff in the episode description and things along those lines and on our social media. But like, where can people go ahead and keep up with you, keep up with the book, and things along those lines?
So I think Taylor's gonna make me start posting to Instagram and to Facebook just to update people. So probably just be. I'm not sure if it's gonna continue to be under the Sea and the Sword on Facebook or if there's gonna be like a Levi Qualls author page. But then the book will be on Amazon, and if you're from Fort Scott, I'm pretty sure it'll be at Hedgehog Inc. And then Pittsburgh, it'll be at the Doggy Bag. But yeah, mostly just Amazon for the book, and then Instagram, Facebook for Levi.
Okay. And like I said, I'll share that below. Best case scenario, you might get tens of followers from
Heck
us.
yeah.
No, but seriously, I'll look for a place in Mississippi where we can get physical copies maybe. I don't know any book stores near me actually, other than like Books a Million.
I'll sneak some into Walmart.
Doing the Lord's work.
Put them in airport terminals. That's the place to do it.
It's true. I mean, honestly, airports love when you sneak things in and like leave them there. So
I'll just fill a duffel bag with a ton of copies of it,
ton of copies of the book and my alarm clock ticks.
so that someone knows to open it.
Yeah.
They'll only stop you for that bottle of water you have.
Yeah.
Take your shoes off, bud. You got a bottle of water.
Wait, you got shampoo? Nah. Not allowed on here. Toothpaste and it's Scope brand? No.
Man.
You said you were a Christian?
So, very excited for this to come out. Very excited to read it myself. And anybody who's interested, obviously, go check Levi out. You still have like some of your drawings and stuff up on Instagram as well, right?
Yeah, some of my I don't really draw a whole lot anymore, but my more recent stuff, yeah.
Go check him out. I like the stuff that he's made. He drew a character for me a long time ago. I still owe you money for that, actually.
The scientist? Yeah, no, it was bad. It's okay.
I liked it, and I was fully going to pay you. I just never. I remember you said how to, and then I sent another message like, "Wait, how?" And never did anything from there. That's on me.
That happened a lot to me. I was just like, I don't really care.
But anyways, guys, go check out Levi. Check out The Sea and the Sword when it comes out. If it's near you, because a number of our listeners are in the Fort Scott, Pittsburgh area, go get a copy in person. It could be really fun. And yeah, we're all looking forward to this. Levi, do you have any final words for our listeners?
Nope, just thanks for having me on, guys.
For sure.
Well, thank you for being on. We have a couple other thank yous that I want to give just really quick. I want to say thank you to Adam Ward and Jared Scrother for our intro and outro music, respectively. Thank you to Garrett and Jake for always listening, and everybody else who's probably here. If you're still here, you're amazing.
If you're
You're
still
amazing
here,
if you're not, but
if you're still here, let us know and we'll start thanking you at the end of our episodes too.
yeah, comment below. We'll shout you out every time. But yeah, thank you, everybody who's been involved in this process. It's been really fun to get to have different friends on, to talk to different people, and to do different things just together, intentionally, basically weekly. And thank you, DJ, for always being with me on this. DJ, you got any other things?
No. Thanks. As always, listeners, if our thanks aren't enough, you can go thank yourselves. Have a good week.
Bye, everyone.